Hello everyone! My name is Dorothy Gibao and I am your presenter for Chapter 15, which is entitled Managing Global Systems. But before we proceed, let us define what is global system. A global system is an economic and political construct in which capital, management, employment, knowledge, natural resources are fully internationalized. And the main determinants for the global systems are nation-states, multinational corporations, international institutions, and non-governmental organizations. And in this chapter, the following are the learning objectives. First, what major factors are driving the internationalization of business? Second, what are the alternative strategies for developing global businesses? Third, what are the challenges posed by global information systems and management solutions for these challenges? And lastly, we're trying to get an answer for what are the issues and technical alternatives to be considered when developing international information systems. And one great example is the company of L'Oreal. L'Oreal is the world's largest cosmetics company and has developed activities in the field concentrating on hair color, skincare, sun protection, makeup, perfume, and hair care. So, in terms of the company's global makeover, L'Oreal faced a problem wherein large number of brands, products, locations, complex production, processes, and multiple systems. And their solution is SAP's ERP system, which is implemented globally, integrated with Apriso's FlexNet for operations management. Above all, L'Oreal demonstrates the need for global firms to have integrated systems for monitoring production. Also, they illustrate the use of enterprise software to enforce global quality and production standards. Anyway, SAP ERP is an enterprise resource planning software developed by the company SAP SE. ERP or Enterprise Resource Planning software is a modular software made to integrate the main functions of an organization's core business processes into a unified system. So next is factors driving the internationalization of business. First, global economic system and global world order driven by advanced networks and information systems. Next is growth of international trade has radically altered domestic economies around the globe. For this slide, one best example is Apple iPhone's global supply chain, wherein the production of numerous high-end electronic products parceled out to multiple countries. So the company Apple designs the iPhone in the United States and relies on suppliers in the United States, Germany, Italy, France, South Korea for other parts, and the final assembly occurs in China. Next is strategy when building international systems. Understand global environment. Second, develop corporate strategy for global competition. Third, develop organization structure and division of labor. Fourth, consider management issues. Fifth, consider technology platform. So overall, the major dimensions for developing an international information systems architectures are the global environment, the corporate global strategies, the structure of the organization, the management and business processes, and the technology platform. So, factors affecting the internationalization of business. One of these is global business drivers. So, general culture factors lead towards internationalization and result in specific business globalization factors. So, general cultural factors are first, global communication and transportation technologies, development of global culture, emergence of global social norms, political stability, and global knowledge base. While specific business factors are global markets, global production and operations, global coordinations, global workforce, and global economies of scale. On the next slide, these are the challenges and obstacles to global business. So, first, in general cultural challenges, it includes particularism, social expectation, political laws. For particularism, this includes regionalism, nationalism, and language differences. Second, social expectation includes brand name expectations and work hours. And for political laws, this includes data flow, data and privacy laws, and commercial regulations. As for the specific cultural challenges, first, standards. This includes email and telecommunication standards. Reliability. This includes phone networks that are not uniformly reliable. And challenges when it comes to speed, different data transfer speeds. Lastly, challenges in terms of personnel, which indicates the shortage of skilled consultants. So, the three main kinds of organizational structure are, first, the centralized, which will be found in the home country. Second is the decentralized or dispersed, which includes local foreign units. And for the coordinated, this includes all units participate as equals. On the next slide, these are the four main global strategies. First, domestic exporter. So, domestic exporter strategy is characterized by heavy centralization of corporate activities in the home country of origin. Second, multinational strategy, which concentrates financial management and control out of a central home base while decentralizing production, sales, and marketing operation to units in other countries. Third, franchisers are an interesting mix of old and new. On the other hand, the product is created, designed, financed, and initially produced in the home country, but for product-specific reasons must rely heavily on foreign personnel for further production, marketing, and human resources. Lastly, transnational are the firms that are stateless, truly globally managed firms that may represent a larger part of international business in the future. So, what are the four main types of system configuration? Centralized are the systems development and operation occur totally at domestic home base, just like what I have said on the previous slide. As for the duplicated, it is the development that occurs at home base, but operations are handed over to autonomous units in foreign locations. The centralized refers to each foreign unit own solutions and system, while network is the development and operations occur in coordinated fashion across all units. So, to develop a global company and information systems support structure, a firm needs to follow these principles. First, organize value by adding activities along lines of comparative advantage. So for this, one sample is to locate functions where they can be best performed for least cost and maximum impact. Second is to develop and operate system units at each level of corporate activity, regional, national, and international. Next is establish at world headquarter a single office responsible for development of international systems, which is a Global Chief Information Office or CIO position. So, when it comes to management solution and implementation, first, agreeing on common user requirements. So, establishing a short list of the core business processes and core support systems will begin a process of rational comparison across the many divisions of the company. Develop a common language for discussing the business and naturally lead to an understanding of common elements. Next, introducing changes in business processes. So, success as a change agent will depend on your legitimacy, your authority, and your ability to involve users in the change design process. Third, coordination applications development. At the global level, there is far too much complexity to attempt a grand design strategy of change. So it is far easier to coordinate change by making small incremental steps toward a larger vision. Next is coordinating software releases. Firms can institute procedures to ensure that all operating units converts to new software updates at the same time so that everyone's software is compatible. Next is encouraging local users to support global systems. So, the overall tactic for dealing with resistant local units is transnational company, which is co-optation that defined as bringing the opposition into the process of designing and implementing the solution without giving up control over the direction and nature of the change. Next, technology issues and opportunities for global value chain. So, standardizing a global computing platform when there is so much variation from operating unit and to operating unit and from other country to other country. For the connectivity, this is the ability to link systems and people of global firm together into a single network, just like the phone system, but capable of voice, data, and image transmissions. Last management solution and implementation is the software localization. As international systems penetrate deeper into management and clerical groups, a common language may not be assumed, and human interfaces must be built to accommodate different languages and even conventions. The entire process of converting software to operate in a second language is called software localization. So, we are now in our summary review. We're going back to our learning objectives. First, what major factors are driving the internationalization of business? So the growth of inexpensive international communication and transportation has created a world culture with stable expectations or norms. Political stability and a global knowledge base that is widely shared also contribute to the world culture. These general factors create the conditions for markets, global production, coordination, distribution, and global economies of scale. Second, what are the alternative strategies for developing global businesses? So there are four basic international strategies. First, domestic exporter, multinational, franchisor, and transnational. In transnational strategy, all factors of production are coordinated on a global scale. However, the choice of strategy is a function of the type of business and product. Third, how can information systems support different global business strategies? So there is a connection between firm strategy and information design. Transnational firms must develop network system configurations and permit considerable decentralization of development and operations. So franchisors almost always duplicate systems across many countries and decentralize financial controls, while multinationals typically rely on decentralized independence among foreign units with some movement towards the development of networks. Domestic exporters typically are centralized in domestic headquarters with some decentralized operations permitted. Fourth, what are the challenges posed by global information systems and management solutions for these challenges? So global information systems pose challenges because cultural, political, and language diversity magnifies differences in organizational culture and business processes and encourages proliferation of disparate local information systems that are difficult to integrate. So typically, international systems have evolved without a conscious plan, and the remedy is to define a small subset of core business processes and focus on building systems to support these processes. Tactically, managers will have to co-opt widely dispersed foreign units to participate in the development and operation of these systems, being careful to maintain overall control. And lastly, what are the issues and technical alternatives to be considered when developing international information systems? So, implementing a global system requires an implementation strategy that considers both business design and technology platforms. So the main hardware and telecommunication issues are system integration and connectivity. The choices for integration are to go either with a proprietary architecture or with open systems technology. Global networks are extremely difficult to build and operate. So firms can build their own global networks or they can create global networks based on the internet. And the main software issues concern building interfaces to existing systems and selecting applications that can work with multiple cultural, language, and organizational frameworks. So, this brings me to end my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. Again, I am Dorothy Gibao, the presenter for Chapter 15 entitled Managing Global Systems.